What's up, dudes? I'm actually going to go to my friend Riley's house today, and he's going to help me fabricate a shield for my MAF sensor and my air filter, because every time that those two get wet, my car starts running like crap, and I cannot have that happen because I still street drive my car to and from the track. So I'm going to show you what the car looks like right now, and then I'm going to show you while we're fabricating the part and everything like that. The only problem that I'm worried about running into isn't necessarily clearance-wise. I'm going to take my car to his house just so that we can make sure that it clears the hood and everything like that. But this is what I'm worried about. I mean, I can obviously push this over, you know, and have like a little bit more space for some metal to go right there. But it's going to be a tight fit. We're not... I'm actually still waiting on a text back from him, but the car is actually doing what I said that it was doing a couple of days ago. I don't know what happened the other day. Like I said, my MAF sensor got wet, my air filter got wet, and the car wasn't running right, but it still wasn't running right after 48 hours. So I pulled the MAF sensor off, noticed that there was corrosion in the MAF sensor, so I ordered a new one. Good news is I'm here now, so I'm gonna meet up with Riley at his shop, and we're gonna get to working on this. You can see that those two little pins right down there have corrosion on them. So I cleaned it out the other day with MAF cleaner, but it still didn't solve my problem, which is why I have a brand new MAF sitting in my passenger seat that I just didn't put on.
Probably first thing we should do is make a shroud that covers this section of your wheel well.
So there's no water from the wheels.
So yeah, there's no any kind of spit off coming up in here.
Yeah, good idea. Come here. One, two. Good thing. There it is. Dude, that's gonna be so sick. So we're in the back of Riley's shop trying to find some material to actually make this shield out of. So we're gonna put this shield right near the wheel well so that we don't get any water or anything coming from the wheel well onto the air filter or the MAF sensor. So we're finally gonna protect that. We're looking for the thinnest piece of aluminum that we can possibly find, because number one, it doesn't need to be strong, it just needs to block out all of the liquid. And number two, we want to be able to bend it, and I also want to be able to take it on and off really easy. So we're going to try to find the thinnest piece of aluminum so that it's bendable.
So that's one option?
Yay.
There's that.
Sick. So right now, Riley is just drilling these holes so that we actually have somewhere to mount this in the car. And we're actually going to use most of the stock holes that were already in the car and just thread a bolt into those holes. So, holy moly, that's going to look so good. There it is.
Push that in. There we go.
Oh, dude, so clean. Wow. I would say to hit Riley up for all of your fabrication needs, but he's my little secret little gem, so. Putting the new MAF sensor back on. And then we're gonna see if we can make some kind of shroud for my air filter, since the air filter is usually so close to the radiator right here. It's actually kind of dangerous how close it is, so we're gonna see if we can make some kind of shroud for that too. Yeah, so this is what we're talking about right here. So we want to see if we can make some kind of something that makes this not touch this. Actually, this used to touch this.
This MAF could be, you know, it could be a tiny bit shorter.
Oh, that's true, because this is the new MAF and not the old one.
Yeah, it could be a tiny bit shorter.
That makes sense. Yeah. Still sketchy. So tell us your next little shroud idea that you came up with.
Well, phase 2, assuming that it all hooks up with the way the hood runs, is that this is just to shroud out temperature from the radiator and some of this piping here from the radiator.
So this is just blocking some heat essentially, and then making sure that this doesn't touch that anymore.
Right, with as minimal air, like minimal airflow blockage as possible. We want as much air flowing in there as possible.
Right, exactly, which is why we didn't cover this on top or on the sides or anything, because we still want the air filter to, you know, be able to do its job. You just put the little bolt right into the radiator where the radiator already had existing. Sick. So OEM, I love it. And now we're gonna do the hood test to make sure that the hood will actually clear this. So do the honors. Be gentle because it's fiberglass.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Clears it?
Yeah, I don't see any problem.
All right, so as you guys saw, we made both the shrouds already. They look super sick. My engine bay looks so OEM and so stock. I love it. It's super duper clean.
Not much air is going to get to these first couple louvers.
Yeah.
I'll just block off till this last louver, or to the second louver here.
Yeah.
And it'll
block most of the water that goes right here. Yeah. So Riley made this little plate. It's gonna go on here just like this, so that we can block some of the water from the louvers in my hood, so that we don't get as much water on the air filter and not as much water on the MAF sensor. We're only gonna do it to the one side because that's the only side that it's really necessary.
I just put in the air filter.
I really don't want to rev my car in your shop, but I think I need to make sure.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Wait. Hesitation at the bottom. It's okay at the top, but the bottom is... That's only like 1,500. So Riley and I just started the car with a new MAF sensor for the first time. He's under the hood. It's kind of hesitating a little bit around like 1,500 RPMs, but it goes all the way through the RPMs. Other than that, perfectly fine. Not even 1,500. It's at like 500. It's like you can like literally watch the RPM gauge almost drop down to 0 and then go back up for just a second. It's very weird. Did you see it? The car's running really rough.
Yeah. The only thing that we did was change the MAF.
Right.
I'll put the old MAF back on and see what it does.
I mean, yeah. Technically, the new MAF that I bought was for an LS400, and the old MAF that I have is for a 1JZ VVTi. So, we're thinking that maybe the new MAF is making my car run differently because it might be tuned for an LS400 versus a 1JZ VVTi. It might be something like a very small difference like that that's making my car run differently. I think that the new MAF is probably better than the old MAF anyway, but we're just going to plug this old one back in and see what happens pretty much. So, at the moment of truth, I'm sure my car's a huge one.
So we're kind of thinking it might be an injector issue. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start the car, start unplugging the injectors, and if nothing changes when I unplug one of the injectors, it's that injector. Here's number 1. Number 2. Yeah,
that one's, yeah.
Definitely. That one is definitely.
That's definitely doing something more.
Yeah, that's definitely good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that one's good.
Yeah, that one's working too. You don't think it could be like spark plugs or something, do you?
It definitely could be. If you want to shut your car off, you can do that.
This car is running like super rough, like almost rougher than it ever really has. And we're trying to figure out why. We unplugged the injectors one by one while the car was running and made sure that it wasn't the injectors. We thought that maybe injector number 5 had a bad connector because when we unplugged it and then we tried plugging it back in, the car was still running really rough. So we figured that maybe that's what it could have been. But then when we shut the car off, turned it back on, then it was fine. So now we're going to check the spark plugs and see if it could be something like that. 100 RPM.
Whoa.
What that? Oh.
That's a lot of water.
And that's a lot of water.
That's a lot of freaking water. Wow.
And we were just doing the spark plugs just to check those.
Yeah.
We pulled out spark plug number 6, and a bunch of water came out with it.
Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah.
That means blown head gasket. Has it been overheating?
No, not at all.
It's shot a lot of water out. Left the spark plug out, open into the cylinder there. So any water does get shot out, which it did in the first cycle around. and we're gonna go ahead and connect it back up and listen how it runs.
All right, so if it runs correctly now that all the water is blown out, then I probably have a blown head gasket.
Yeah. All right.
Dude, my heart is literally pounding.
Mine is too, actually. Oh, sorry. Go ahead and start it again. Yep. How's it sound?
Kind of normal. Seems like it's taking a little bit longer to get up to RPMs, but I mean, that's just probably me psyching myself out. It's still stuttering a little bit when I give it gas.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's still dropping down to almost zero, or like not even 500. Yeah, probably like almost zero.
Next thing we could do is just pull that plug out again and see if there's water on it.
And we're hoping that
there's no water on it.
Okay.
I'm not seeing any water sitting on the piston now, so I'm gonna go ahead and guess this was just a fluke. That there might have been a little water in the plug well. So we can possibly rule that out for now, at least in our short teardown.
But I should check that again. Since we disconnected the injector and it sprayed the water out and now it's dry.
Yeah.
Since the spark plug is dry.
Yeah. So yeah, we took the spark plug out, so there's an opening into the cylinder, so you can see the top of the piston. Removed the injector, so obviously no fuel can get squirted in there.
Right.
And started it up just a couple cycles just to spit all the water out, and it spit the water out pretty good.
Yeah.
And started it again with all the stuff reassembled, and it didn't seem to have any signs of water in there after that. So
that's good.
I don't want to rule out
still
blown head gasket, but it definitely lowers the chances.
Okay.
Because there's no other signs of blown head gasket. So yeah, we'll see. We'll chug on from here and see what's next.
You want me a new car?
You don't want it.
You don't want this one.
Wait, why are you putting the old map back on?
Because the old MAF is for this engine directly. It's for a 1JZ VVTi, and the other one is for an LS400. I almost burned myself.
Nice.
Hey, I did it by myself! Finally. Oh my god, that's so hard to put
But it's
on.
upside down.
Oh no!
Yeah,
we
we're
can
on
test it. It's so tight. It's so hard to put on. I haven't been able to put it on by myself this whole time. I'm always like, can I have a flathead? Somebody help me.
Someone help me.
Old MAF.
Oh, there's a mosquito in my car. Why is it running okay?
Oh, give it a little throttle.
It's okay.
It's okay or it's good?
Well, it's still stuttering when I give it gas, but it's that's like foot to the floor, and it only got up to 6 rand.
Okay.
And it red lines at 7. So it was okay, and now it's not okay. Yeah, it's just the car, it's just not, it wasn't running right on my way here this morning, but I was just like, you know what, it's just the MAP sensor, so I'm just going to change it when I get to Riley's. And then I changed it when we got here. I was about to leave or whatever. We put the new MAP sensor back on, and then the car was idling funny between 5 and 1500 RPM. And then we checked all the spark plugs. Yeah, then we checked the injectors and everything, and all those were fine. And then the last spark plug, cylinder 6, was wet. Took it out. Turned the car on, water shot out of the cylinder, put the spark plug back in, now there's no water, but we didn't run the car for an extensive period of time. So the head gasket might be blown.
And well, the spark plug is probably fouled from water being sprayed all over it.
No, it didn't look too bad.
Yeah, it didn't look too bad. It did look like the other ones, but are you able to come and get me tonight? Because I don't really want to drive it home if I don't have to. All right, so a very needed update, very short update. I didn't want to drive the car home I don't have headlights. It got dark really fast, so my dad came to pick me up with a trailer. So we're gonna put the car in the trailer, and then we're gonna take it back to the house, and then tomorrow we're gonna take it to the shop. All right, everybody, load it up on the trailer. Gonna take it to 2 different shops tomorrow, see what they say. Cross our fingers that the head gasket is not blown. So pray for me.